good afternoon, and good afternoon once again. It's that time again. It's Thursday, and it's noontime, and it's about to get on fire. We got that one and only community activist, the one that's dedicated to community service. I'm talking about the one and only GA for Justice, your host, Mrs. or Miss Georgia Allen. How you doing?
Hello, hello, hello. It's great to see everybody. Great to see everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I'm coming to you live as always every Thursday, right at 12 o'clock noon, sometimes a couple of minutes late, depending upon technology. It likes to play with me sometimes. But anyway, um, again, I am Georgia F. Allen with GA for Justice. And as always, I give you my topic, which is stop. Stop just for a moment. Pause. Kill the noise and do the work. Because
All
we get
right.
so busy with everything that's going on, we forget to just simply stop. Turn off all the noise, kill the noise, and then get back to work. Our Kwanzaa principle for today is Nia, or purpose, to make our collective work vocation, the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Purpose, Nia, purpose. And if ever there was a time that we needed a purpose and stay on purpose, now is that time. Our faith message is from Philippians 2:13. For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order for you to fulfill his good purpose. So, here again, every single solitary week, we come to you. We try to bring you a message of encouragement, even though we try to shake you up a little bit because we have a tendency to get complacent, to get lazy. And then what happens? All you know what breaks loose. So again, I'm Georgia Allen, and yes, it's Thursday. I bring you greetings. Um, and as always, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Henderson Vaughn, aka Captain 85, aka the Dream Maker, on WVDM, who has
Yes.
opened up the airwaves to bring our listening audience a conversation. It is a simple conversation for information, a conversation for correction when necessary, as well as a conversation for hopefully transformation. Because we've been walking on this path a long time, and sometimes it doesn't seem like we're changing in any way, shape, or form. So hopefully our messages will encourage you to think about what you're doing and think about what you can do better. Our disclaimer each week, I try to give you a disclaimer. Many of you are well aware that I have worked in civil rights and have been a community activist for decades. Therefore, the various positions that I take are mine and mine alone. I do not speak on behalf of any groups or any organizations. So, Grand Rising, everybody. Grand Rising, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. We
Yep.
have a fabulous surprise guest with us today. Someone who is the smartest person I know. She keeps up with her sorority, her church, the local branch of the NAACP. She keeps up with the membership, the finances, the legal redress, the political action, and everything in between. And she knows her health care because she is a physician assistant. She walks on water, sprinkle it with a little sunshine, and she makes us all stand in line. My cohort in the civil rights movement, Ms. Bernita Richardson. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Are you able to click her on?
She's not here yet.
She's not. Okay, no problem, because we're going to get started.
Mhm.
Again, we are speaking primarily to the fact that everything has seemed to be all out of order. Things are all over the place. People are upset every day. You go out, you go shopping, you go to the grocery store, and somebody is upset about something. She didn't have the link at first, but she said her computer is acting up, but she's going to be coming in hopefully shortly. So hopefully we will all be on the same page. My computer has been acting up. I can only see you guys if I look on my cell phone. I could not see you from my computer screen, even though I'm looking directly in it. You guys can see me, but I can't see anything. But anyway, I just want people to know, do not be dismayed. Do not be despair, because prior to our generation, there were many, many generations who came before us. And guess what? They got knocked down and they got back up. When there was trouble all over this land, when they were being mistreated, when one group of people thought they were better than another group of people, more powerful than another group of people, our people still fought back. You know, people say that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. And then when you go back and you do your own study, you find out that the enslaved people said, you know what? No, we're going to fight for whoever is going to ensure that we no longer have to be in this type of bondage. And so they took up the war arms. They took up arms and they fought for their own freedom. So it wasn't like somebody came along and said, oh, well, we're just going to let you go free. No, that was not the case. These people were determined to no longer be in bondage to an enslaver, to a kidnapper, to an oppressor. And so if they could do that during that period of time in the 1800s, surely we can do a little something today. And while all of you may not want to be heavily involved in the civil rights movement or heavily involved in politics or heavily involved with other community actions and activities, that may not be your forte. We all have different skills. We all have different talents, and we all have different things that we enjoy doing. And you probably say, how can you enjoy fighting for other people? How can you enjoy standing up to city council? How can you enjoy going before the House of Delegates or the state senate, or sitting down and talking to the governor, or sitting down and talking to our United States senator? How can you enjoy that? I personally enjoy it because anytime I can make a difference that is for the good of my people, that is for the good of my family, that is for the good of those who will be here long after I'm gone, that is why and how I am excited about doing what I do. Everybody can't do this. Look, I can't make certain alcoholic beverages, okay? You need someone who's a mixologist, who knows how to pour in all the different ingredients to make that special drink for you. I'm not a mixologist, but we have them out there and they do a fabulous job. So everything is not for everybody. So I want you to not look at civil rights or look at these different things that we have to do as something that each person is required to do. But guess what? When you're benefiting from what others are doing, there's no harm in you assisting from time to time. You may not be able to come out every month, or you may not be able to stand on a picket line. But you know what? You can make a donation. You know what? You can volunteer to register people to vote. You know what? You can work a poll from time to time. You don't have to work at every single solitary election, because we have elections every year, and we have several this year. Of course, whenever we have elections, 90% of the time, you will probably have a primary. So therefore, we want to make sure that everybody is participating in what we're doing and what we're doing to try to achieve better for those who are coming behind us. Henderson? Hello? Is she here?
Yes.
Okay, then go ahead and bring her on, please.
Okay.
That's fine.
I just wanted to jump in because I've been listening for a moment.
Did you hear that introduction?
I did not. Computers
Well,
do
I
what
gotta
they
do
want
it
to
again.
do. Okay.
I gotta do it again. I say. We have a fabulous surprise guest with us today. Someone who's the smartest person I know. She keeps up with her sorority, her church, the local branch of the NAACP. She keeps up with the membership, the finances, the legal redress, the political action, and she knows her health care because she is a physician assistant. She walks on water, sprinkles it with a little sunshine, and she makes us all stand in line. My cohort in the civil rights movement, Ms. Bernita Richardson. Welcome.
Thank you. I love it. I hope I can live up to that. I tell you, that's a lot. But I always remember the quote, "To whom much is given, much is expected." Right. And so that is the way that I move when I work for the community. Mm-hmm. I've been blessed, abundantly blessed. Mm-hmm. And I would feel like I wasn't doing my job if I'm not working to make sure that everyone can get to where I've gotten to and move forward past that point. Or if I see my sister or my brother struggling and I can help them out, then there is no reason I should not. I get joy out of doing that. So that's why I do what I do.
Awesome. Well, of course, the topic is stop, kill the noise, and do the work.
All right.
I chose that topic because I think that sometimes people don't understand that there's so much going on, and we have a tendency to get all up in everything when really we probably only need to be involved in a couple of things here or there. And when I say all of us, I shouldn't say all of us, many of us, mm-hmm. because there are others of us like yourself, myself, who have to be out here in the community and working and having our hands in various places. But we have our hands in those places because we're genuinely invested.
Absolutely.
And therein lies the difference. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So,
and we don't wait until whatever issue is necessarily affecting us. Mm-hmm. We are proactive. So Absolutely. Let's get active because I see what they're doing to you, and given the opportunity, they do the same to me. So let's get this taken care of now.
Hello.
Absolutely.
Community. I think it's called community.
Yeah, something like that, or being in community.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Again, the topic today is stop, kill the noise, and do the work. So when you look at that word stop, it just means pause. Just, sometimes you got to reboot. So just pause for a moment, take it in. Don't go crazy. Just pause. And then sometimes you just have to kill the noise. A lot of people are crying about everything because of all these changes that are going on. Turn the TV off. Don't look at your phone all the time.
Right.
Kill the noise. And then remember, you don't have to clap back on everything. Pick and choose the issue that you want to clap back on, because you don't have to clap back on everything.
In life, we talk about how we pick our battles. And I think that right now there would appear to be so many battles that you could jump in that if you don't stop, then you will end up in more battles than you need it to be, which will mean you're not as effective. And so when I think of stopping and killing the noise, I'm also stopping to see what intention is and all of these executive things that are happening. What is your goal overall? And I think that sometimes distraction is a goal so that we're looking to the right when all this stuff is happening on the left and we're not paying attention and seeing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They keep you off course, off base, and everything when we don't
And balance.
take a moment. Yes, off balance, and we don't take a moment to stop. The other thing was do the work. Okay. You know, we have never, ever had it easy. You know that.
Right.
So therefore, having freedom, justice, equity, and equality comes with what? A price. And sometimes it's just grunt work.
Right.
But there's a price to be paid to have freedom, justice, equity, and equality. So those of us who understand the mission know that we must focus, okay? But we also have to fight. We got to be willing to fight. But more importantly, we got to be willing to finish the fight. Most of us get started in fights and then, it didn't work out. So now we decide we're going to stop. So talk about that for a moment, about being focused, fighting, and finishing.
Well, we got to finish the fight. Sometimes the fights are drawn out longer. But if you keep battling, then you get there. And when you said that, it made me think of the Bible. And when Moses was up standing on the mountainside and they had to lift his arms up so that the people could continue to win the battle. But it wasn't time to give up. It was time to dig in and go further. And so lots of times it may look like the battle is lost, but in actuality, you're just in the middle of it. And sometimes, not just in these political battles, but in life, people may give up and get tired just before when they're right at that finish line and they don't see it. So don't get discouraged. Don't be dismayed. Keep pushing.
Absolutely.
Keep pushing.
Absolutely.
And the reward will be yours, especially if you're on the side of right. Sometimes it's going to take a minute. Every battle isn't easy.
Absolutely. And we know that there's been a fight in Virginia Beach for a minute now. Lawsuit came into play in 2018.
Well, I say the battle started in 1965 with the Voting Rights Act.
Absolutely.
And the fight has continued to occur even until today. I was speaking with a friend of mine earlier, and I was like, as a transplant to Virginia Beach, I could not understand the voting system when I first came here. And I was just like, I just figured I come from a very small, I call it the booming metropolis, but a very small community in Emporia, Virginia. And
where you get tickets, y'all.
I have never gotten a ticket in Emporia, Virginia. I've been stopped probably about 9 or 10 times, but I have never gotten a ticket in Emporia.
Well, I guess they're partial to their residents. They're not partial to the rest of us. So we're paying these tickets to keep Emporia running, so they have all the money they need to operate. That's what it is. We
appreciate it. We appreciate the donations to our funds. And it's funny because everybody knows Emporia for that, but they were partial to the chief of police's daughter. So I would have rather had the ticket because they're like, hey, I'm going to tell my dad I had to stop you. Just give me the ticket and let me go. Let's not even go there. Let me pay the fine and move forward. Please don't tell my dad.
Oh, that is too funny. That is too funny. But yeah, let's talk about this 10-1 election system in the city of Virginia Beach.
It's so it's almost like they don't, no, and I said almost. they don't want their power diluted. And that's the problem. They've been accustomed to having the power, to moving and shaking the way that they want with the people that they wanted. And so the new, and I'm going to say new, because it's only been in place for 5 years.
No,
Not even 5 years.
no, it's went into play 2022.
2022.
Yes.
Right. So 2022 to it's real news.
So,
And so maybe they just haven't gotten accustomed to hearing the voices that sound just ever so slightly different from their own. And that concerns them. Because you can't, if you disagree with them, then it must be because you don't understand.
oh, you heard when one of the city council members said it. How many times she said, "What they just don't understand."
Right. Which is why when I spoke before council, I said, not only do we understand, but we can read now. We can make our own decisions now. We can purchase things now. We're educated now.
Right.
Those lovers of liberty, that's what I call them.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, we have a strange system down here in the city of Virginia Beach in 2025. It went into place November of 2022. And the first full election went into play November of 2022. And so I think that they don't understand what the Code of Virginia says.
I think they don't care. But okay, I'm sorry. Go on.
The Code of Virginia is really, really specific. It says that when the local governing bodies adopted a redistricting during the decennial redistricting, it tells them specifically that they are required, the bodies are required by Article 7, Section 5 of the Constitution of Virginia, shall take effect immediately. Now, they did that part, but they've been fighting ever since. And they tell you that the members of the county, city, and town governing bodies in office on the effective date of the decennial redistricting measure shall complete their terms of office, but the elections for their successors shall be held at the general election next preceding the expiration of the terms of office of the incumbent members, and that it shall be conducted on the basis of the districts set out in the measures to accomplish the decennial redistricting. Is that not what we did?
That's what we did. That's what we understand, what we really understand. But they weren't sure. So after they did that, they said, hey, let's go around and ask some questions because they don't know what's going on. Let's pay, I think that study was over $5 million for the study from UVA.
No, the whole package of the lawsuit, the study, all the money that the city put into the trying to prevent from changing to what was
required,
what was ruled by the federal judge. Okay. So by the time we count up the lawyers, high-priced lawyers, they got them from all the way from Washington, D.C., y'all.
Yes,
high-priced lawyers. So they had to pay them a tremendous amount of money. They pay UVA, I think, somewhere around $250,000 for the UVA study. And then keep in mind, they've been fighting it ever since. So money is being spent while they are continuing to engage with other attorneys with regards to how can we get out of this. When they went to appeal, that costs money to appeal it. So all of those things have cost who? We, the taxpayers, money.
We the people of Virginia Beach.
We the people of
Yes.
Virginia Beach. It
Mm-hmm.
costs us money every time they keep this thing in litigation. All right.
Also,
Well,
the time, it
Mhm.
costs time.
It
The
costs
time that they, I watched the discussion that they had in their private session and then in the public session, and a great deal of time was spent on it in September. A great deal of time was spent on it earlier last year and the year before, when that time could have been better suited, in my opinion, helping doing things within our Virginia Beach community, making it better, maybe focus on the issue of housing.
Absolutely. And then think about it. Every time the personnel went out, they had to cover the cost of those personnel that went from meeting to meeting to meeting. There was someone there taking notes. They had materials. Remember all that material that they were passing out at the different sessions and everything. All of those things were taxpayers' dollars. And so, as residents of the city of Virginia Beach, we should be very concerned with how our city council members are not real good stewards of the money that we pay in tax dollars to operate our city. That's not being a good steward.
Agreed.
Not at all. Henderson, did you have something you wanted to chime in about?
Well, not right at this moment. Now, y'all doing an excellent job. I don't want to interrupt the flow because I get to talk. The show be over.
Well, I'm going to pause for a moment and make a couple of announcements. One, and y'all say, well, you made this announcement last time. I'm going to make it again. Two of them. Frederick Douglass' birthday was February the 14th, 1818. And he passed away January the 20th, 1895. Now, why he chose February 14th? Because from what we understand is he's not sure exactly when his birthday was. Okay. But what he did is, let's see, Abraham Lincoln was born in the month of February, and seemed like there was one other person that he really liked was born in the month of February. So he knew he was born in the month of February. He just didn't know what day. So he chose 2 days after Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
May I say something?
You sure can.
I just want to say, who would not want to be born in February? I mean, this is a phenomenal month. Do you know how many great people are born in February?
Well, I think there's one on the line with us today, born on the 26th of February.
Yes, ma'am. 26th of February. Yes, ma'am. I was due March 4th, but February was about to get out of here. I was like, hey, I got to be with the greats, so I came a little bit early.
So you intentionally was born in February because one of my favorite all-time authors is Langston Hughes, who was born on February the 1st. So,
yes.
But a little bit behind Frederick Douglass. He was born in the 1900s. Frederick was born in the 1800s. We also have on February the 18th, Audre Lorde, an American writer, professor, philosopher, but he also passed away November 1992. Then we had B.B. Moore Campbell, another American author and journalist, but she also passed away in November of 2006.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yes, bless you. Toni Morrison, also born in February, American novelist, and we just lost her a few years ago, August 2019. And the great Nina Simone, born on February 21st. Nina Simone was an activist, jazz singer, songwriter, composer, pianist. Yes. And her song, I Put a Spell on You. Many people remember that. Okay. So just a few announcements, acknowledgments,
Did you wait
commemorations.
1 second, Miss Georgia? Did you mention Smokey Robinson? Because he was born on the 19th. If we're gonna talk about greats, I'm just
Oh, well, you go ahead and tell us a little bit about Smokey.
the great songwriter, singer, Smokey from the Motown. I think Motown should be attributed a little bit more to him than some others because the work that he put in helped make Motown.
Absolutely.
So
He
if you
wrote
don't
for
know who
almost
Smokey is, you better
everybody.
find out. Right,
Almost
right.
everybody. He wrote songs
Mm-hmm.
for so many
Mm-hmm.
groups and individuals. They absolutely superb.
Mm-hmm.
How did I miss
Well,
Smokey?
I don't know because I didn't hear you say Michael Jordan, sports greats. I mean, when I say greats in the month of February, I'm just saying.
Look, I got a whole bunch of them in my folder. My folder that has my previous announcements and
Mm-hmm.
everything. But also, I just want to remind people that on February, well, not remind people, but I do want to announce. So I don't think everybody can go, but just so that you know what's going on in our community. On February the 28th, Tallwood High School is going to have a Black Expo. Of course, because it's a high school, it's not open to everybody, but it's just a way to let people know that even in our high schools and our local schools, that there are teachers and educators who continue to educate our children. Even in these times, we still have educators that are saying, you know what, children need to learn about their history.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to celebrate. Somebody put Michael Jordan on the screen.
Yes.
Michael on the screen. Also, I do want to announce that we want our community to turn in their confidential resumes. And you said, well, what are confidential resumes? You can go online to City of Virginia Beach to put in confidential resumes. And what this resume will do is allow you to be considered to serve on boards, commissions, and committees. That's boards, commissions, and committees in our city. And why is that important? You can't ask for diversity if you're not willing to put your name in the hat to serve on some of these different boards and commissions and committees. Right now, I went online because I was on a Zoom call yesterday with some folks who work in the justice area. And so when I went online, and they were talking about Human Rights Commission, I went online and I looked at who serves on the Human Rights Commission. Well, guess what? We have 10 districts. And guess what? 2 districts do not have anybody from their district serving on the Human Rights Commission. District 4 and District 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's a sad statement on the part of District 4 and District 10. So I think that needs to be something that we want to look at as a community. We can look at it as an organization, but we definitely want to reach out to people in District 4 and District 10 because there are 5 seats that are coming to an end on March the 31st. Now, keep in mind, they can this council can agree to extend those commissioners' time, or they can roll off, take a break, let somebody else come in, serve for a term or 2 terms or whatever, and then later on come back on. But we have to have a pool of persons who have their confidential resumes so that we have an opportunity to appoint them. So we do need your help out there in the community. I'm sure you can reach out to your center of influence and tell all your people that, look, we got 2 seats coming up and we need somebody from District 4 and somebody from District 10 because we do have someone serving from District 7. I think we have a couple of people from District 7 that's on there. And then on in some instances, I think there are 2 to 3 people from one district. So if we have 10 districts, we should have somebody representing on all the boards and commissions from every one of those districts. And we need to educate the community about that. It's not just about electing people to city council and school board and the House of Delegates and the state Senate and statewide. Opening up this opportunity allows us to focus on the fact that we do need people in positions on these boards and commissions, especially when it comes to the Planning Commission, especially when it comes to the RAC, which is the Resort Area Commission, because they make a lot of decisions with regards to how the money is spent in the entire city, not just how the money is spent on the ocean front. If they need to get their council members to move money from an area that actually need the money and move it down to the ocean front, let me tell you, they're going to leverage their power to move that money there. Whereas if you have somebody representing all 10 districts, then you now have voices from these other districts saying to the oceanfront crew, no, you don't get to take our money. That's in my district. Now these people can physically see where the money is being moved from and where the money is being moved to. Does that make sense, everybody?
It makes sense to me, even in the way that they will reassign minorities to areas to move the money within our city. I find to be a little dishonest.
Very dishonest. Very, 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 very. So anyway, that was our short break. And now we're going to come back and talk about this 10-1 district system. And what are some of the ideas and thoughts that we have that we can perhaps do to better educate the community with regards to making sure that they, one, understand their power in the 10-1 district system, and two, how to leverage that power and how to educate others about the 10-1 system. So what are some of your ideas as we continue on this road? We're traveling now.
I think that, there's power in numbers. And so we have to really stop trying to do things individually and work more collectively. I go back to that word community to get these things done. And it may be time for us to look outside of Virginia Beach. Maybe at this point, we need to start looking, because I know there are other cities, I've talked to leaders in other cities who are looking to see how we get this done. And so maybe it's time for all of us to come together and work to correct this all over the state for those other areas where they are still trying to marginalize and prevent us from utilizing our votes to the greatest potential.
I agree. I think that's an excellent point because we have more or less in the city of Virginia Beach with the lawsuit that we did cracked open the door. And so places like Chesapeake and other parts of the state, they're looking at, well, what can we do? Because we're dealing with a similar situation where our votes are also being diluted. And if we pool our resources together and talk to each other, then perhaps information that they have, maybe we didn't have that particular piece of information that might be something that we can use to leverage and build on.
Yes, absolutely. And then I think we need to stay vigilant in our community. There are people in Virginia Beach who are not fully verse in 10-1, but they know that this gave us the most diverse council we have. And so they understand the benefit, but we also need to show them what utilizing the diverse council could mean for their communities, um, to see if that will help move this forward.
Exactly. And again, educating them on the fact that there was a process that the city, when they first lost the lawsuit, we're scrambling trying to find out, well, what can we do? What can we do? And so they said, well, let's bring in an outside consultant and let that outside consultant come in, do some town halls, both in person as well as online, and let's check the pulse of the community. And they did that. And do you remember the results of that?
I know they didn't like the results. The results didn't say what they wanted them to say. And so let's discount it. Maybe they didn't talk to enough people. Maybe this isn't really accurate, because we just knew that this survey was going to say that this voting system, we don't understand it and we don't like it and we want it changed now. But it didn't say that.
It didn't say that. It's quite interesting, because not only did it not say that, it wasn't even close.
Right.
It wasn't like, it was like 52% of the people like the new system, and 48 of them, 48%, they don't like the system. That was not the result. The result was 81%. So then they dug a little deeper. They dug to demographics.
Right.
And what did the demographics show?
Not what they want to. Not what they wanted it to. So they said, the demographics said across all demographics, this voting system is the system that the majority of the people in Virginia Beach want.
Mm-hmm.
Black, white, green, purple,
everybody.
multi-leg, one leg, I mean, whatever, disability, non-ability, ability. I mean, every demographic that you could possibly think of is in favor of our current voting system. So then they said, no.
Extremely interesting, wasn't it? Because they couldn't even what they call it, aggregate the numbers and move all the rich people out the numbers. The rich people said they liked it too.
All but one that we know of who's been publicly against it. Right. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was quite interesting. It kind of blew them away, because every demographic, from socioeconomic, from basically political, every demographic, regardless of your education. I mean, they looked at education levels. Mm-hmm. They looked at whether you were
it was a thorough report from all stances. And fortunately for us, but unfortunately for the people who were hoping to get rid of this system, the survey basically backfired. The survey showed them that this is what they want. This is what they like. Now, there was one question on the survey about a referendum for this. Should there be a referendum for this voting system? And so I think that is the one area that people said, yes, there should be a referendum on the in the polling system for people to vote on. However, when reading the decision from the federal judge, that still would not change our current voting system.
Because they said with a referendum, if the people are outnumbered, once again, what would happen?
The minority voice would be diluted.
And that is why we have these laws on the books of Virginia. That's why we have these codes of Virginia, because the code of Virginia, and I'll read another one, the one that says 24.2-130, it says, and an at-large method of election, including one that combines at-large elections with district award-based elections, shall not be imposed, or applied by the governing body of any locality in a manner that impairs the ability of members of a protected class as defined in Code of Virginia 24.2-125 to elect candidates of their choice or its ability to influence the outcome of an election as a result of the dilution or the abridgment of the rights of voters who are members of a protected class. So we want to remind people the reason why we had to change this is because we were constantly being denied our rights to elect persons of our choice, because we are a protected class of individuals and a collective of persons who have been denied their constitutional rights to vote and be able to successfully elect to office persons of our choice. And that doesn't necessarily mean that all the persons are going to look like us, but we definitely don't want to have people placed in office simply on the fact that they have so much money. It makes it impossible for us to elect anybody of our choice. And so therein lies the major problem, is it was preventing protected classes from electing people of their choice. And this happened. Huh?
I was going to say the statement that Councilwoman Rouse made was really on point when she talked about the fact that, you know, they make $28,000 a year. So why are you spending $100,000 to get this position? It shouldn't be that you have to spend that much to win a position where you don't even earn that much. But, you know, that's where those special interests get to come in there a little bit and make their voices heard, and then come back later on and say what they want to happen.
Since you brought up, city council woman, I have, went through my archives when they blessed the ground for the African Cultural Center. I think it's been about 8 or 9 years. What all the money that they have gotten, to do things in the Afro-American community, how come they couldn't have put some of that money aside to maybe have broken ground to start building? And then they can find money for everything else, but they can't find money to start the structure. And this year last year now, I think, they came up with the basketball court. But
wasn't that donated?
You're right. That's what I'm saying is, but
yeah, I think that was donated. I don't think the African American Culture Center used their money for that.
No. I'm saying if they got a donation for a basketball court, wouldn't they also get donations for the African Cultural Center? If the ground is broken?
Yeah, that you're gonna have to ask the
city. You got to go to city council.
The president, CEO, and the founder. I can't remember the number of titles that culture center and the people who are leading it have.
Yeah, but you call them.
But it is very concerning.
Right.
As we go forward with the 10-1 district voting system, it looks like it's probably going to be a good idea to maybe continue to do town hall meetings, but we can do them under the banner of an organization. We can do them as a collective, members of the community who are very much interested in, ensuring that the people are aware of the work that has been done to allow us to have this new system. Okay, it took a lot of time. Again, as you indicated, we've had a voting system that was in opposition of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 since 1965. Our city came into being in 1963. Oh, they did a huge celebration 2 years ago in 2023, celebrating 60 years of Virginia Beach. But in 2023, for the first time, we actually were following the guidelines of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Interesting. Took them 60 years. 60 years.
And then you think about it, because I think, wasn't it in 93 or 94, where someone recognized, hey, this isn't right.
Correct.
And once the citizens in Virginia Beach voted to say, hey, you're right, let's change this voting system, you all had this wonderful leader who went up to
the General
Assembly and said, hey, they don't know what they're talking about. Right. It seems to be that they just want to say we don't understand.
That is so amazing that the people overwhelmingly supported the single member district system years ago. In 1994, you're right, it was around 1994 that they put it up for referendum. And the referendum voted in favor of having a change in the way we do elections in Virginia Beach. And then the General Assembly members from Virginia Beach rewrote it so that it was so convoluted, it was virtually impossible to understand. And then the people voted against what they had originally voted in favor of. And they just walked away and said, okay, this is what the people want.
Right. But I've looked at that referendum, the second one, and I have a couple of few degrees, and I still don't know which one I should have voted for had I lived here at that time. That's how confusingly it was written.
Yep. Okay, so now we have an opportunity to ensure that hopefully we can prevent them from confusing the residents of the city of Virginia Beach, the citizenry.
Absolutely.
And so I think that this is the time to go proactive, because we're coming close to the end of the General Assembly. They end on Saturday, as you mentioned earlier. And they voted down on the Senate side the change of the charter. However, when you read what the Code of Virginia says, the charter is basically null and void anyway, because during the decennial redistricting, the redistrict overrules. Right. So therefore, the change in charter should simply be a formality. And what I think we need to do is educate the public about how important it is when you're talking to your local legislators as well as your state legislators. Say, look, I know that changing the charter is formality. I know that we changed the election system during the period of time of the census, which is mandated by the United States government. So therefore, I don't care what you say. You were supposed to change the charter. It should have been an automatic. It should have been a formality. It should not be something that has to go back and forth. So whether you are on city council or in the state legislature, you should have done your job. And I think that we need to give a message out to the public to help them to understand that we the people are on the right side of this issue, and our elected officials have decided to try not to listen to their constituents. What do you think?
I definitely think that they're not doing their job, and we need to make that clear. My concern is that they're not doing it because of special interest. And so I always think it's important to know who's pulling the purse strings or the marionette strings and moving the puppets around. Um, and I think it's important that everyone knows, who is supporting them so that we know who is in the background pulling the strings, who the puppet master is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what are we going to do now? We're going to go forward
Fight.
and put together a few bullet points so that people will know what's going on and be able to better explain to each other. And, we explain
Yes.
to them kind of like what they do. They do the train the trainer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We can do some train the trainers all around the city.
Absolutely.
So that in every group organization we have people who are familiar with this 10-1 system, familiar with the benefit of the 10-1 system, how it's much less expensive to run instead of running in a city of over 467,000, in a city of over 272 plus miles, in a city that in the past, a person running for city council would have to cover 108 precincts. And now they have from somewhere between 8 to 14 precincts per district. Now they have 48,000 residents in the district versus 467,000 residents that they would have to reach out to in one form or another. So, are we ready?
I think accountability too. We didn't talk about that, and I know we're coming to the end, but this system makes the council people more accountable to the members in their district.
Absolutely.
I'm ready to fight.
Are we? Are we ready to fight?
Always.
All right. Well, we are coming to the close of our show today. I'm so grateful, Bernita, for you joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We need to continue to let the public know what is going on. So, for those of you who are listening live or who will be listening later, we want to encourage you, send this out to everybody that you know. Share it far and wide, and then ask your circle to share it as well. Because the more we get this information out to the public, the stronger we will be. And then from there, let's have some sessions around the city to talk to people face to face so they can ask questions face to face. And doing these type of things, I think, will strengthen us as a community, but also strengthen what we are doing to make things better for the next generation. So, with that being said, again, Bernita, thank you so much for joining us today. And we are coming to the end of the show. You want to take us away, Henderson?
Hey, no doubt about it. I can make that dream come true. That's off the dream maker. Once again, a great topic and a great conversation piece for the audience. And don't forget to share this with everybody on your social media platform. And you also can email it or just text it to them. But nevertheless, we'll be back next Thursday from 12 until 1, same time, same place, right here on GA for Justice. Your community activist, Miss Georgia Allen, and her guests, whoever that might be. We might be able to get, well, we won't say, we want to keep that a secret. But thank you once again. And it's always a pleasure for those that are watching now, and we'll share later. Once again, thank you and goodbye.
Bye.